Hey listeners, welcome to English Made Simple. Imagine you've studied English grammar for 10 years, you know all the rules, and then you step off a plane.
Right, the real test.
Exactly. You walk into a bustling coffee shop, and the barista casually asks, all right, what's it gonna be?
Oh, and panic just sets in immediately.
It really does.
Yeah.
Suddenly, your pristine textbook knowledge completely vanishes. So today, we are mastering the everyday English you actually need, so you don't sound like a walking, talking grammar manual.
Which is a very good goal to have.
For sure. We have an incredibly practical deep dive for you today. Our mission: unpacking 50 common conversational English phrases.
That's a lot, but they're so essential.
They really are. Whether you are just about to embark on a journey to an English-speaking country, or you are simply resuming your English learning journey and need a refresher, consider this your ultimate survival kit.
I think that is exactly the right way to frame it. Because what's fascinating here is that knowing the dictionary definition of words simply isn't enough for true fluency.
Right, it's just the tip of the iceberg.
Exactly. Fluency doesn't come from memorizing individual vocabulary words in a vacuum. It comes from internalizing the natural chunks of language, the reflex phrases.
The ones native speakers use without even thinking.
Yes, to navigate complex social situations in real time.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because to me, learning textbook English without these everyday phrases is a lot like, well, learning to swim on dry land.
Oh, that's a great analogy.
Thanks.
Right.
It is great in theory. You might know the exact mechanics of a freestyle stroke while lying on your living room rug.
But you're not actually swimming.
Right. Today we are jumping into the actual water of real unscripted conversation. And every interaction starts with getting your feet wet. So let's wade in and talk about breaking the ice.
Yeah, the very first moments of a conversation dictate the entire current of the interaction. If you walk up to someone and use a stiff textbook, "How are you?" it can actually feel a bit heavy.
Almost like a medical inquiry, right?
It really does. Instead, native speakers almost universally lean on, "How's it going?"
How's it going?
Exactly. It is fluid, it is casual, and psychologically, it immediately lowers the stakes of the interaction. You aren't asking for a deep emotional inventory.
You just want the weather report of their day.
Spot on. You are just checking the weather of their day.
How's it going? Takes the pressure off. But what if it's someone you haven't seen in a long time? Like you see an old friend at a grocery store, and it's been months.
You'd probably say a long time no see.
Right, you smile and say, a long time no see.
Yeah.
But hold on, let me push back on that one for a second.
Sure, go ahead.
If you are listening to this and you actually pause to analyze a long time no see, it sounds completely wrong. There is literally no verb. Grammatically, it's a train wreck.
Oh, it absolutely is a grammatical train wreck. And this raises a fantastic point about how language actually functions in the real world.
How so?
Well, strict grammar rules are often completely bypassed in favor of rhythm and familiarity. A long time no see acts as a piece of social glue.
Like a shortcut.
Yes. It instantly bridges the gap of time with a very familiar staccato rhythm. It allows for a smooth transition into the conversation without anyone's brain having to, process complex syntax.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like a secret handshake. It just feels right to say out loud.
It does.
And right after that secret handshake, you'd probably follow up with, what have you been up to?
Which is a much warmer way of asking what has been going on in their life.
Yeah, much better than, what did you do for the last 6 months?
Definitely. It invites a narrative, what have you been up to? Gives the person permission to tell a story rather than just giving a one-word answer.
And what if they don't have a big story?
Well, if everything in their life is just generally fine, the perfect cultural response is, can't complain.
Can't complain. I love the cultural nuance of that.
It's very common.
Because if you think about it, in many English-speaking cultures, there is a strong distaste for bragging. If you say, my life is absolutely perfect and I am incredibly wealthy and happy, it kind of alienates people.
Oh, it makes them instantly uncomfortable.
Exactly. Can't complain strikes the perfect social balance. It communicates that things are good without elevating yourself above the person you are talking to.
That is a brilliant observation. It is an exercise in cultural humility.
Okay, so what if you're catching up and your friend somehow guesses some big news about you without you even mentioning it?
Like they already know your secret.
Yeah. Maybe they ask how your new apartment is, but you haven't posted about it anywhere on social media.
Your natural reaction would be, how do you know? Or where did you get the news?
It's the perfect mix of surprise and curiosity. So we've waded into the water, we've established a baseline connection, But, as anyone who has ever had a real conversation knows, the current quickly gets choppy.
Real life happens.
Exactly. You get distracted, you misunderstand something, or someone interrupts. How do you keep the flow and handle those hiccups gracefully without panicking?
This is where survival phrases are crucial. If you aren't sure you understood someone, the absolute worst thing you can do is just nod and pretend.
Oh, we've all been guilty of the fake nod.
It never ends well. Instead, you use a verification phrase like, "Did I get you right?"
Did I get you right? I feel like if you're listening to this and sweating at the thought of misunderstanding your boss or a client, this phrase is your lifeline.
It really is. "Did I get you right?" Allows you to hit the pause button, summarize what you think you heard, and verify it without sounding incompetent.
It sounds very professional.
Another great surgical tool is, "I didn't catch the last word."
Oh, I use that all the time.
Because if you missed just a tiny piece of the sentence, you don't need them to rewind and repeat the entire 5-minute story. Just politely interject with, "I didn't catch the last word."
But let's be totally honest with ourselves here. Sometimes you miss the whole thing.
True.
You just zone out. Maybe you were looking at a text message, or maybe you're just thinking about lunch. You have to admit fault.
You have to own it.
Right. You say, sorry, I wasn't listening. Now, wait, is there a danger here? If I say that in a professional setting, am I going to look terribly rude?
Well, it all comes down to ownership and tone. Admitting I wasn't listening actually builds trust, provided you follow it up with genuine attention.
So it's not a deal breaker.
Not at all. It's a micro moment of vulnerability. It tells the other person, "I value what you're saying enough to want to actually hear it, rather than just faking it."
That makes sense. Fake nodding destroys trust much faster than a sincere apology for being distracted.
Absolutely.
That is incredibly reassuring. Now, what if the conversation gets derailed by an outside force? Someone walks up and interrupts, and when they leave, you want to get back to the topic.
You ask, "Where were we?"
Where were we?
Yes, and structurally, for anyone working on their pronunciation, "where were we?" is a brilliant phonetic exercise.
Wait, really? How so?
Well, in many languages, the English W sound simply doesn't exist. Learners often substitute it with a hard B or V sound, saying something like ver, ve.
Ah, I hear that a lot.
Right. Repeating the phrase, "where were we?" forces you to physically round your lips and push the air out correctly 3 times in a row.
Oh, that is a fantastic tip. If you've been enjoying listening to this, consider subscribing. We love sharing these little mechanical breakdowns.
They make a huge difference.
Okay, another way to prompt the speaker to continue if they trailed off is simply saying, you were saying. But I imagine the mechanism here is all in the delivery, right?
Absolutely. You must use an upward, questioning intonation at the very end of the word saying. You were saying.
So it goes up at the end.
Yes. That upward tilt acts as an auditory hook, gently pulling the other person back into their own story.
Speaking of sudden interruptions, imagine you come home, you walk into your living room, and unexpectedly 5 of your friends are sitting on your couch in the dark.
Well, the perfect immediate reaction phrase there is, "What is going on?"
Exactly, that demands an explanation for the chaos.
On the flip side, if you are the one creating the interruption, say you need to ask a coworker a question and they are staring at their monitor, typing furiously with headphones on.
You definitely need to soften your entry.
You do. You lead with, "Sorry to bother you." It preemptively acknowledges that their time is valuable and you are imposing on it.
And if you are that busy coworker and someone taps you on the shoulder, a polite way to hold them off is, I'll be with you in a minute.
It's a great boundary-setting phrase.
Yeah, you acknowledge their presence, but you protect your current focus.
So now we have navigated the choppy waters of interruptions. You are back in the flow. You've actually heard what the person said, and now, well, you have to react to it.
Which brings us to the art of the reaction. And this is where I feel like native speakers use highly specific, almost weirdly poetic idioms to express surprise, joy, anger, or total apathy.
Reaction phrases are where the true personality of the English language shines through.
Definitely.
Let's start with validating someone else. If someone tells a genuinely funny joke, you don't just laugh. You verbally validate their humor by saying, "That's a good one."
And if they share amazing news like getting to a dream university, you say, lucky you.
Or if someone helps you out in a massive way, you look at them and say, "You rock."
I want to pause here because you rock is such an interesting mechanism. You aren't literally calling them a stone.
Exactly. It's a geological metaphor.
What a geological metaphor.
Yeah. By saying "you rock," you are telling them that they are a solid, immovable, dependable foundation. They are sturdy. It's high praise.
That's a cool way to think about it.
You'll also hear a lot of regional slang that has evolved into mainstream reactions. For example, that's lit.
Oh, that's lit.
It started as California slang, meaning something was highly energetic or amazing, and now it has permeated global pop culture.
I love how language evolves like that.
Yeah.
What about when someone pitches you an idea? Say your friend describes a weekend trip they just took.
Okay.
They describe the lakeside cabin, the incredible food, the perfect weather, and it sounds so amazing that you want to book a ticket right then and there. You
Yeah.
say, "You sold me."
It's a fascinating phrase because no actual commerce is taking place.
Right, it's like an everyday infomercial.
Yeah.
People aren't literally selling you a product, but they are selling their enthusiasm and their experience.
Realize.
By saying, "You sold me," you are validating their storytelling skills. You're saying, "Your pitch was so good, I am buying into your idea."
That is the perfect way to look at it. Now, let's wade into some dangerous waters. Let's talk about one of the trickiest reaction phrases in the English language.
Uh-oh, which one?
Good for you.
Oh, this one is a hidden riptide. It looks calm on the surface, but it can completely pull you under.
It truly is a riptide. What's fascinating here is that the semantic meaning of good for you hinges entirely on the physics of your delivery.
Like your tone of voice.
Yes, your pitch, your eye contact, your intonation. It can be a warm, genuine congratulation if you excitedly tell me, I finally got that promotion, and I smile brightly and say, good for you. I am celebrating alongside you.
But there's a very dark side to good for you.
There really is. It can be a highly negative, sarcastic, and icy dismissal.
Like in a fight.
Exactly. Imagine a tense argument. Someone dramatically declares, I'm leaving this project, I can't work with you anymore. The other person might drop their pitch, look away coldly, and reply, good for you. We're better off without you.
Wow, that's cold.
In that context, good for you means, I absolutely do not care, please leave. The words on the page are identical, but the music of the phrase changes the meaning entirely.
The music of the phrase. That is why textbook learning isn't enough. You can't learn that music from a page.
You really can't.
Okay, what about extreme surprise? Someone tells you a fact that shatters your reality. You say, you gotta be kidding me.
Or consider a situation where you are deeply confused and then someone provides one tiny missing detail and suddenly the whole picture makes sense.
What do you say then?
You say, oh, that explains it. The missing gear is inserted, the machine turns, and understanding is achieved. That explains it.
I like that visual. And if you were pushed way past surprise and into pure unadulterated anger, you say, I freaked out.
Like losing total control.
Yeah, like you were so angry your brain short-circuited. I freaked out when I saw the damage to my car.
That captures it perfectly.
Now, let's pivot to certainty versus total apathy. If someone offers you a highly lucrative job with half the hours, what do you say?
You say this is a no-brainer.
A no-brainer.
The mechanism here is quite literal. It means the decision requires absolutely zero brain power to process. It is an incredibly easy choice.
And if you are presenting undeniable evidence?
You say, there is no room for doubt. You are visualizing doubt as a physical object and stating there is simply no space for it to exist.
But what if you are on the complete opposite end of the spectrum? Someone is cornering you at a party, telling you a 20-minute story about their neighbor's lawnmower.
Sounds awful.
You have zero interest. You might think to yourself, I couldn't care less. And let's clear something up right now because I hear native speakers mess this up constantly.
Oh, I know exactly what you're going to say.
People often say, I could care less. That makes no logical sense, right?
It is entirely illogical. If you say, I could care less, it means you still have some capacity for caring left to lose.
Which defeats the whole point.
Exactly. But the correct phrase, I couldn't care less, mathematically implies that your caring meter is at absolute zero. There is physically no lower amount of care you could possibly give.
It is the ultimate brutal expression of apathy.
It really is.
Good to finally set the record straight on that. So we've reacted to the waves. Now let's move into the emotional core of conversation. Empathy, encouragement, and accountability.
Which are so important.
Because conversations aren't just about exchanging facts, they are largely about managing emotions, comforting a friend, hyping them up, or admitting your own mistakes.
This is where language becomes a vital tool for human connection. When someone apologizes to you for a minor inconvenience, you need a way to instantly diffuse their guilt.
What's the best way to do that?
The most common modern phrase is simply, no worries. It instructs them to drop their anxiety. Everything is completely fine.
And if they're agonizing over a failure that isn't a big deal, you can say, don't take it to heart. Meaning, don't let this minor issue penetrate your emotional core. Or, things happen. It shifts the blame from their personal failure to the random chaos of the universe.
Context is key for applying these. Imagine a coworker accidentally spills coffee on your desk, but misses your laptop.
Close call.
Very close. You wipe it up and say, it doesn't matter. You are instantly signaling that the crisis is averted and their guilt is unnecessary.
But what if you are the one who spilled the coffee all over their expensive keyboard? Or you severely mishandled a client account?
Then you need a different phrase.
You have to take extreme accountability. You look them in the eye and say, I screwed up. And I want to dig into this because why say I screwed up instead of a formal I apologize?
It comes down to the imagery the phrase evokes. Screwed up is a mechanical metaphor.
Like a machine again.
Exactly. It implies a loose screw, a temporary operational malfunction, rather than a deep, permanent moral flaw. By using casual, mechanical language, you lower the defensive walls in the room. It makes the apology feel raw, honest, and human, inviting empathy rather than judgment.
A mechanical failure versus a moral one. That is a brilliant insight. Now, alongside apologies, there are highly nuanced ways of thanking people.
Yes, gratitude is tricky.
If someone goes out of their way to do a favor for you, you say, it's very kind of you. But what if they tried to help but utterly failed? Say they spent 2 hours trying to fix your router and the internet is still dead.
You certainly don't want them to feel bad for wasting their time, so you say thank you anyway.
Thank you anyway.
It separates the effort from the outcome. It acknowledges that their attempt had value even if the result was zero.
And in professional settings, specifically at the end of emails, you'll constantly see thank you in advance. Now, I have to be honest. I've always felt this phrase is a bit of a polite trap.
Oh, it absolutely is a polite trap.
I knew it.
It operates on the psychological principle of the social contract. By thanking someone before they have even agreed to do the task, you are artificially creating a debt of gratitude.
That's sneaky.
It psychologically corners them into compliance. Could you finish that report by Friday? Thank you in advance. It leaves them very little room to say no.
It is beautifully manipulative. Okay, let's shift to pure motivation. Hyping people up.
Let's do it.
If you want to wish someone luck on a risky venture, you say, fingers crossed, and you literally cross your index and middle fingers in the air.
And if someone is visibly discouraged, you instruct them to cheer up.
Simple but effective.
If they are doubting their ability to pass a grueling exam, like the TOEFL, you rally them by saying, come on, you can do it.
And when they're grinding away, putting in the hours, you sustain their momentum by saying, keep up the good work.
And then when they finally succeed after hitting a wall 10 times,
You point at them and say, there you go. It's this great mix of validation and I told you so.
But sometimes true empathy requires stepping back and offering perspective.
Like when things are genuinely bad.
Yes. If a friend is crying uncontrollably over a terrible job or a toxic relationship, you might need to look at them and say, it's not worth it.
That's heavy.
It's a powerful mechanism.
Yeah.
You are doing a value comparison. You are telling them that their emotional energy is far too valuable to be spent on something so beneath them.
It's not worth your tears. That is powerful.
Yeah.
But what about when empathy requires tough love?
That's when things get very physical in English.
Right? This is what I noticed something fascinating about English. The idioms are incredibly physical. If someone needs to try harder, you don't just say work harder. You say you should go an extra mile.
Yes, or step up your game. You are demanding physical elevation.
Exactly. You're demanding they physically walk a mile. And my absolute favorite, if someone is panicking, having a meltdown, and they need to urgently focus, you say, pull yourself together.
Such vivid, almost violent imagery.
It really is. You are visualizing them as scattered pieces on the floor, and you are telling them to physically grab those pieces and pull them back into one solid, functioning human being.
That intense physicality is a hallmark of conversational English. It bypasses the logical brain and creates imagery that resonates emotionally far more effectively than literal instructions ever could.
So we've broken the ice, we've handled the hiccups, we've reacted, and we've shown empathy. We've swum through the deep water.
We covered a lot of ground.
But every good conversation must eventually come to an end. We have to safely get back to shore. Which brings us to our final segment, exit strategies, and goodbyes.
Leaving a conversation gracefully is a highly sensitive social skill.
It's so awkward sometimes.
It can be. You don't want to just abruptly announce, I am done talking to you. That feels like a rejection. You need to soften the departure.
So what's the trick?
A classic, foolproof way to do this is checking the time and saying, I'd better be going.
Right. Yeah. You glance at your watch or your phone, widen your eyes a bit and say, oh, wow, look at the time. I'd better be going.
The delivery is everything.
I love the mechanism here because you are completely externalizing the blame. It's not that you are bored with them. It's the tyrannical clock that is forcing you to leave.
Exactly. It preserves their ego. Now, what if you have to leave your office early for an emergency, but your desk can't be left empty?
You turn to a trusted coworker and ask, can you cover me?
Exactly.
Can you cover me? It sounds like a military operation. You're asking for covering fire while you retreat.
It is essentially workplace survival English. It means, can you shield my responsibilities for a short period?
And as you are finally walking away, how do you promise future contact without locking yourself into a rigid schedule?
The most modern universal way is simply, I'll text you.
I'll text you. And it doesn't matter if you're using WhatsApp, iMessage, or Telegram. The verb is universally just text.
And then the actual final goodbye. A very warm, protective send-off is, take care.
Meaning, navigate the world safely until I see you again.
And if it happens to be the end of the week, you can always celebrate the shared relief by saying, thank heavens it's Friday or Saturday.
It's a nice feeling.
It's a little shared victory to end the interaction on a high communal note.
Thank heavens it's Friday. A universally understood feeling.
Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a final thought to ponder about the phrases we've discussed today.
Ooh, all right. Lay it on me.
If you look closely, notice how many of these conversational anchors actually use highly negative words to express incredibly positive or relaxed feelings.
Wait, what do you mean by that?
Well, think about the mechanics of the phrases we covered. When someone asks if you are tired and you want to enthusiastically declare you have plenty of energy, you say, not a bit.
Okay, yeah.
When life is going wonderfully and you feel blessed, you say, can't complain. When you want to offer total forgiveness, peace, and reassurance to a friend, you say, no worries.
That's fascinating.
We are constantly utilizing words like not, can't, and no to communicate extreme optimism and comfort.
Wow. Not a bit. Can't complain. No worries. You're right. The optimism is defined entirely by the absence of a negative.
It completely changes the way you look at English optimism. It's often framed as the relief of a negative element being removed, rather than the addition of a positive one.
That's deep.
It's a fascinating psychological quirk of the language.
That is a brilliant way to look at it. It just goes to show that conversational English is alive. It's full of these little psychological quirks, these unspoken rules, and these physical metaphors.
Absolutely.
And going back to what we said at the very start, you simply cannot learn those quirks if you stay safely on dry land memorizing vocabulary lists. You have to jump into the water.
You really do.
You have to risk the grammatical train wreck of a long time no see.
Mm.
You have to practice rounding your lips for where were we?
Yeah.
And you have to get comfortable admitting a mechanical failure by saying, I screwed up.
Because that is the only way you actually learn to swim in a new language. You don't master it by studying the water. You master it by immersing yourself in the chunks, the rhythm, and the messy humanity of it all.
Beautifully said. Don't forget to like this video and drop a comment sharing your thoughts.